please stay in your home. Please do not leave your house. The apocalypse is here. Earth and all of its inhabitants will soon be consumed in flames. Flames that will burn forever and yet never consume. Because Obama's net neutrality regulations are dead. Yes, I said it. They are dead. Please do not panic. Now, if you've read anything from the press or if you read anything from the left, that's exactly how they're treating this. They took the news that the FCC voted 3-2 to get rid of net neutrality really, really hard. They are now writing their wills, their last testament. They're writing to everyone that will listen to them their dramatic and misinformed post on stone tablets so they can be buried and found in years to come. The hyperbolic statements from the left about the vote on net neutrality would make you think that the internet has been tortured and killed, that we'll never be able to communicate with each other. Here's the reality. The repeal of these regulations will not affect your life or their life whatsoever. And yet, we're all going to die. The vote was briefly delayed yesterday after security had to clear the room and conduct a search for a possible bomb threat. Oh, yeah, no, the left is not violent. It begs the question, why are they emotional train wrecks over net neutrality? By the way, do you know who wrote net neutrality? Yeah, because this is going to protect the little guy. Google wrote net neutrality. Rescinding the Obama-era regulations are going to return us to the Stone Age of 2015. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Do you remember how bad the internet was in 2015? We're going to go back there. People are going to starve to death. People will die of cancer. There will be bodies in the streets, and you are all going back to dial-up. We're all going back to beep, boop. It's going to happen. May I ask, have you seen a difference in the internet in a bad way or anything in the last 2 years? Good way, bad way, anything? The imagined hell of living without the internet. Can you imagine it? It's supposed to bring us to the edge of despair. And it goes to show us that we are all closer to chaos than we think. The only reason people think they want net neutrality is because it sounds nice, like the Patriot Act. I'm a patriot. Net neutrality, well, I'm neutral. The internet can only remain truly neutral if no one can get their grubby hands on it, if the government keeps its hands off of it. And that, in reality, is what the FCC voted to do yesterday. If you could even log on the internet today because of the defeat of net neutrality, I don't know what we're going to do, Stu.
I mean, the internet was horrible in 2015. Horrible. What had happened between, say, 1994 and 2015 on the internet? Anything positive? No. Nothing ever.
It didn't grow.
No, it didn't grow. It didn't get any better. And now it's gonna revert back to those old days. I mean, if you have anything other than a dial-up modem today, you're within the wealthiest 1%. Because you're back to 2600 baud.
Right. 26. I only have 6400.
Well, that's more, isn't it?
Oh, is it more? Did you say 2600? Oh, 2600. Yeah. Well, I'm one of the ones.
You are. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
That is. It's funny. There's a big viral tweet that was 162,000 retweets, 208,000 likes. Here's what it says: Twitter $14.99 a month, Snapchat $9.99 a month. YouTube $19.99 a month. Netflix $9.99 per movie. Google
per movie.
Google $1.99 per search. if you don't want to pay extra for your favorite sites, you need to be supporting net neutrality.
Do you really think that's possible?
Well,
I mean, no one would do it. I mean, if that really was the reality, I have faith in the people in Silicon Valley that they will come up with something new.
Right.
Because somebody will say, you know what, $9.99 a month was a lot of money for Netflix. They're now charging $9.99 per movie. They pissed off a lot of people. I think I can do it for a little cheaper.
There's so much here, though, to pick apart. First of all, under net neutrality, all of these things could happen.
Yes.
Twitter absolutely can charge $14.99 a month on their own. And notice how they're not asking for regulations on Twitter to keep Twitter free. They're asking only on the ISP side, which is such a strange thing. Like this is a battle between giant multi-billion-dollar corporations and giant multi-billion-dollar corporations for control, for their money, and people are acting as if they should be involved in it.
People don't know history. We are going through the same history that we went through in the 1800s with the trains. We went through in the 1940s with the auto industry. We're going through it again. And here's what's happening. Those with gobs and gobs of money are going to the government and saying, pass this legislation because it protects the auto worker. Does it, GM? Or does it put the innovator out? Does it put the Cord out? Does it put the Auburn out of business? Does it put the cheaper tire, the better tire, out of business because BF Goodrich and Goodyear Tire were the ones who came together and wrote the legislation and said, here, government, protect the worker. And it put everybody who was competing out of business. That's what's happening. Google wrote net neutrality.
They like it. But unless you want to get giant companies more wealthy, then you will support net neutrality. What do you think Google is supporting it for? Why do you think these companies are supporting it? Because they think it's better for them.
I don't know how everybody hates Walmart, but just has no problem with Google.
Netflix is...
They're in their basement creating life.
Right.
Okay, so there's we lost some jobs in Milwaukee, and I hate those guys. By the way, have you seen Google? I love these guys. They're playing Frankenstein in their basement, and they're probably creating a monster that's going to kill and enslave all of us. But man, they're great, aren't they? Look at they put like little lefty things up above their box. I love it.
It's wonderful. And then they have the idea that a lot of people, there are a few conservatives who like this, a few people in our audience that actually like net neutrality. And one of their complaints is, hey, look, you guys, if anybody, should be in support of net neutrality because let's say some big ISP, Verizon, decides they don't like the Blaze and they could block customers' access to the Blaze. How are people getting on the internet? Is it our job? No. Verizon has invested multiple billions of dollars in infrastructure to get you on the internet. If they want to block all conservative sites, they should be allowed to do it. Now, that is a terrible business model for them. They'll lose half the country and people will go to other companies that will support the material that they want. However, that is not something the government needs to be involved in.
Here's the thing. This happened with the phone systems and with electricity. They're getting so big, everybody needs it. Everybody needs it. We should make it a utility. Yes, let's make it utility. That way, the government can regulate absolutely everything. Now, let me tell you what we're up against. First of all, if the utilities were not utilities, if we could actually just get power and we had competitors on power, it would be a completely different world if we could compete. But no, it's a utility, so we cannot compete that way. Let me tell you what's coming. This is the first year that solar power is parity with, I want to say natural gas, but I'm not sure, in price. It's still not reasonable to have everybody go to solar power. But in the next 10 years, it will be. And the people who are most concerned about it are the utilities. And here's what the utilities are warning against. It is going to become so cheap that in probably a 10-year period that you will start to have a line growing up where people are saying, you know what, I want to do solar panels. And because so many people will disconnect and cut the cord from the utility and be independent, that you won't be able to maintain the utilities for the rest of the country. You won't be able to keep the power lines going. It hits 30% of off-grid, and you can't afford to upkeep on just the telephone poles or the wiring. So what are they going to do? Well, you got to regulate it. No. There are times that you have these big crashes because new technology is coming in. You don't protect the horse and buggy. You don't have the government come in and say, that's too important to get rid of these cars. We got to regulate these cars. No, let the market work. How do we not understand that living in this age where the internet has never been regulated? It's completely free. Tell me how horrible the internet is. It has made many people very wealthy. It has made access to entertainment and information unlike the world has ever seen.
There has never been a more clear and active real-world experiment in the idea of limited government than the internet. And look how well it has turned out.
And listen, what they're saying is the little people won't be represented. Look at Egypt. For the first time, because there is an unregulated internet, everyone has a voice. Do you know the guy that stood in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square? We don't know who that guy is. They scooped him up. He's gone. We have no idea who he is. If the internet would have been as free and as big as it is right now, everyone would know his name. What are we doing? Government, get the hell away from something that works.